Hello everyone and welcome back to Farming Simulator 19. Welcome back to Abyss Farms. Today we're just getting right back to work. We get the harvester going, we're going to get the mower going, and we're going to get down to business. Got a lot of work to do, not a lot of time to do it in. So we got to get everybody started and everybody working. And then we got to get back over here and finish picking up all this straw so that we can replant this field. The goals for this episode are going to be to get all of this straw picked up, to get this field planted with soybeans, and hopefully by the end of it, it'll be all planted and I can show you how to begin to fertilize your field and all that kind of stuff. I'm also planning on starting another series for Farming Simulator on No Man's Land. No Man's Land is a map that has nothing on it other than forest pretty much. There's one tiny little field that you can buy that square of property, but the field is in horrible shape and you have to redo the field and everything. But other than that, it's nothing but open land and forest. So anything you want to grow, you have got to do yourself. You've got to plow the field yourself. You've got to design the fields any way you want. You have to do everything by yourself. It's like a really, really hard map to succeed on. And when I do that series, I'm going to do it on the very hardest level that this game has, which is the start from scratch mode. On that mode, you start with very little money, no equipment, and you have to just try to get it done. So I think that'll be a fun thing to do. We'll be able to design our own farm, and I'm going to get a little crazy with that one. I'm going to plow pretty much all of the available space I can, and by the end of that, once we get the entire map bought and built up and everything, we're going to have a field like you've never seen before. It's going to be gigantic. It's going to cover almost the entire map. So it's going to be absolutely ludicrous by the time I'm done with it. But I think that'll be a fun series to do, and you'll really get to see everything that this game has to offer by doing it that way. I started out on this map because this is my favorite map of all time. I love this map. But No Man's Land is pretty amazing as far as really seeing if you have what it takes to actually succeed on this game when you don't have anything. Because on this I have fields already done. All I have to do is buy them and I can harvest the stuff and sell the field back. It's really easy to make money on this. Where on No Man's Land there's nothing. There's no other farmers. There's no contracts I can do. There's nothing. I just have to start plowing and start growing my own crops and selling them to really try to make it. So I think that'll be a really, really cool thing. I will start that up after this episode. I will probably still do episodes of this farm as well, but I'm going to work on that other farm also. So it'll probably alternate back and forth, or I don't know how I'll do it yet. We'll see. I get kind of caught up in things, and it's very possible that I'll start working on that farm, and that's pretty much all I'll do for a while, and I might come back to this one in a little while. But on that farm, we'll have the same stuff going on as we have on this farm. On that farm, we will have the hay pellets and the straw pellets being made and everything too. What I might do is turn this farm into more animals, because I already have sheep and chickens here. I will get pigs going here, and I will get cows going here, and maybe even horses going here. And this will be the animal farm, where we come and we take care of the animals, and everything we grow will be to feed the animals. That's probably what I'll do with this one. And then the other one will be for growing crops and making pellets and stuff like that and selling them. Because that one I'm going to have to build fields and everything out of nothing. So I think that's a good strategy to go on with this one. That way we don't have to totally abandon it. Because there's not going to be a whole lot of room on the other map if I do what I want to do to it for the animals. Because I plan on making outrageously large fields that eventually will cover the entire map. So it's going to be absolutely insane. And I won't really have any place to put the animal pens if I do that. So if I keep all the animal pens on this farm and don't do animals on the other one, that'll work out very well for me. So this is all of the straw, I believe, off of this field. That's job done. So all we have to do now is empty this, and we can actually start planting this field, which is awesome. We're going to do it in soybeans, so we're going to make a decent amount of money off of it by the time we harvest it. That's always great. More money you make, the cooler stuff you can buy, and the more money you can continue to make. And since this one's going to be about taking care of the animals, we're going to need a lot of money because the cow enclosure costs $300,000. The pig enclosure is somewhere in that ballpark as well. And it takes a lot to keep them fed. Both the cows and the pigs, they eat a lot. So we're going to be very, very busy growing stuff and storing it and making total mix rations and all kinds of stuff. I'm probably also going to put in a silage bunker here. Since I'm going to be doing cows, I am going to need it so that I can start getting silage made for the total mix rations. I'll start selling it in the beginning probably, or I might store it. I don't know. I need the money, so selling it wouldn't be a bad idea the first couple times just to try to get some extra cash in. But I will need to start keeping it so that I can make total mix rations out of that and hay. And I'm going to need a lot of straw to take care of all these animals. So I'm going to buy a bigger trailer so that I can empty the harvester multiple times before I have to dump it. Because right now the harvester is down the hill there working on that other field, and I don't want to have to run all the way back up every time I want to sell after 2 or 3 loads. I want to be able to keep a lot more at a time before I have to run it. So buying a bigger trailer will help me accomplish that goal. But unfortunately I don't need this trailer anymore, so I'm going to zip over to the shop and sell this trailer, and I will be back with you when I get there and have the new trailer. Alright, so we are here at the shop and we are going to be selling this other trailer that we have. Go ahead and get rid of that. And we're going to pick up the new trailer. And our harvester is full right now, so we need to go on and boogie over there and empty him with our brand new trailer. As you can see, it is much larger than the other trailer. It holds 30-some thousand instead of 14. So that's going to double our capacity and the amount of time in between runs we have to make to empty it, which is a good thing for keeping us from running back and forth so much, but it's also a good thing because we can sell more of it at a higher price this way. Because each time you sell, it drops the price a little bit. So if you sell more at a time, you get more of it sold at the higher price. So we're going to go up here and empty our harvester so that he can get back to work. Because we don't want him napping on the job. We want him harvesting our field. Then once he gets done emptying, what I'll do is I'll just pull over here out of the way and leave the trailer. And we'll check on all of our other guys. We also need to get back up there and get started planting that field with soybeans. So I'll probably get going on that. He's almost done unloading, so we'll be getting out of his way very shortly. Okay, there he goes. Now we'll leave this trailer and I will head back up to the farm and begin planting. So I'll see you when I get there. I'm actually here at the shop again because I just realized that I do not have a seeder to plant yet. I didn't buy it yet, so I got to do that. So we're going to go with probably this one here for 30,000 because it can plant without having to cultivate first. It drills right into the ground without having to cultivate it. So that'll save us a step. So instead of having to run over the field twice, once with the cultivator, once with a seeder, this thing, because it direct drills, I don't need to cultivate. I can just plant, which is awesome. So we'll go with this. Now it's not very big, so it's going to take a while to plant the field, but I can't use the big one because I don't have a good enough tractor yet. Alright, we are back up here at the farm. And what I'm doing on the farming videos now is I'm going to be cutting out kind of all the travel back and forth, because that way you don't have to sit there and watch me drive all the way down to the shop and then all the way back up and all that kind of stuff. I'm going to go ahead and buy one of these buy anything stations so that I can buy seed to put in my seeder. So we'll go ahead and set that up, and we'll fill this guy up. We open it up for you. Now once you open up the top, you just drive underneath the arm over here, and you can fill up with seed. With this mod, you can buy anything in the game. So anything you need, you can buy from this, which is wonderful. It's kind of one of those mods I was talking about before that are absolute game changers and completely change the way you play the game, because you can buy anything you want. So literally you won't even have to grow crops if you don't want to. You can just buy the crops to feed your animals if you didn't like the whole process of growing them and everything. You'd be rather bored rather quickly because there wouldn't be a whole lot for you to do if you did that, but however you want to play it, completely up to you. So all we do here is we line up and we either start planting ourselves or we hire a worker to do it. I'm going to hire a worker to do it, most likely, simply because he can do it straight, where I will kind of wiggle around a little bit. It'll make it kind of a pain in the butt, but as you can see, he's planting. That's what it looks like. Check our guy. He's good. So he is finished with his task, so I'm going to go ahead and finish this line out, because for some reason he won't do the whole last line. So I'm going to do it myself, and then we'll get him started windrowing this into lines so that it's easier to pick up. And in this grass we will not be baling. We will be coming back down here with the loading wagon and picking all of this up, and most likely I'm going to go ahead and put in the silage area, the silage silos, so that I can begin to make silage with this grass, because I have the room up there and I might as well go ahead and get it started. Since I'm going to be doing animals, I'm going to need the silage for the cows. Plus silage is a pretty good money crop, so you can just make it and sell it if you want to, and you get pretty good money for it. But with this game, it's going to be all about trying to stockpile hay, silage, and straw so that we can make total mix rations and provide straw for the animals. And then a lot of the different food crops we grow and harvest will be going towards feeding our pigs once we get our pigs going. We're going to have to sell some of them in the beginning so that we can buy the enclosures for both, but once we get the pigs going, we'll start saving the majority of it so that we can actually feed them. So we learned last episode with this that you need to let the worker do this. As much fun as it is to do it by myself, I gotta let the worker do it because for whatever reason, this mod misses a whole bunch if you're the one that's doing it. So he's doing that. He's planting. So that's good. And our harvester is going. He's about half full. And we don't have any tractors really to do anything else with because our workers are using them both. So we'll just watch the worker work for a minute. Once he gets finished with this, that'll free this guy up and I'll be able to go back up and get the loading wagon. And I'll be able to start picking this grass up. I'm also going to need to buy the silage bunkers so that I can start to make silage and get those put in up at the farm. I'm going to need to get everything together for that. I'm going to need to buy the cow enclosure and the pig enclosure before too long. I'm also going to need to buy the horse pen if I'm going to start doing horses. That's a possibility as well. Horses take oats and hay to feed them, and then they need straw as well. So that would take away from my hay for my cows. But if all I'm doing is animals on this one, then I don't see why I couldn't do it. I don't know, we'll see. Horses are kind of a pain because you have to ride each individual horse every day to get their physical number up to 100%. And when you do that, it takes a long time because you're just running around with the horse waiting for the number to go up to 100. And then you finally get done with the first horse and you got to take it back and put it in and then get the next horse and do the same thing over again. And it gets old really fast doing that because while you're riding those horses, there's a bunch of stuff that isn't getting done that needs to get done at the farm. And if you don't ride them every day, they don't gain any value because they don't produce anything. You're just making them more physically fit and making them into racehorses basically, and then you sell them. You buy them for like $5,000 and you sell them for $50,000 at the end of it. And that's like, I think 10 days maybe or something like that. I don't remember exactly how many days it takes, but it's a lot of days that you have to ride these horses again and again and again. And it's kind of a pain. I don't really care much for it, to be honest with you. I almost never do horses just because of that. Because if you're going to do horses and you want to make some real money with horses, then you kind of need to not do everything else. Because horses take up a bunch of time. So we are just about finished with this field. Once we get done, I will go back up and grab the loading wagon and we will start getting this finished. It's kind of leaving a little line there. Now I could either just leave that line and pick it up, or on my way back up, because I got to come back up with this anyway, maybe I'll just combine the line I'm making now and the little bit that's left over into one line instead. I might as well. I mean, I got to drive all the way back up here anyway to put this thing away. So since I'm going to make the drive anyway, I might as well go ahead and combine them. That'll make it easier when I'm picking it up with the loading wagon, so I don't have to do an extra pass. And it's already 7:23 at night, so it'll be getting dark very soon. Now the nice thing about this game is when it gets dark, at least this map, it doesn't get extremely dark. So even in the middle of the night, I'm still going to be able to see what I'm doing. Now on other maps, it gets dark. I mean completely black. You can't see anything. You can turn your lights on your tractor and you can see a tiny bit in front of you, but not much. As you can tell, it's already getting to the point where I can't see a whole lot on the field. So let me get lined back up here. Turn my lights on. Now when I hit to do it as a worker, he turned the lights back off. That's okay. Let's back up because I'm completely missing that entire row for some reason. Move over a little bit further this way and try again. See if that works to pick it up. Yeah, there we go. That's better. So now he's turned his lights on. And this will complete the grass. All I have to do is come pick it up now. So once he's done, I'll park this and go back over and get the loading wagon. And then we can come back down and start picking that up. At some point, I'm going to have to go back over and empty out my harvester again, because I'm sure he'll be done. He has a nearly full grain tank right now. So he'll be done before too long, so I'm going to need to go check on him as well and go ahead and get him emptied out. It's nice to have a dedicated tractor or truck or something over there that can pull the trailer so that when the harvester gets done, you can empty him. It's kind of a pain to have to stop what you're doing and drive over to empty him, but I don't want to waste another 20, 30 grand to buy another one of these little tractors just to do that when I'm going to be upgrading to better tractors anyway. I think it's easier just to go over and check and make sure that he gets emptied when he needs to be emptied and everything, and not waste that money because I'm going to need it. I mean, I can always sell the tractors when I'm done, but they're not going to be worth near what I paid for them. So that's not a good thing. Okay, so we will drop this guy off here. I'm probably going to go ahead and grab the baler and take that back up with me, because I'm not going to be using that on this field anymore, but I will be using it to do the straw pellets when I buy that machinery, and I'll be doing all of that up at the farm. So I'm not going to need it down here anymore, so I might as well take it with me since I'm going up that way. Save myself a trip later. And as I said, I need to check on my harvester also, because he should be just about full. Go ahead and get him emptied, and that'll take care of that for a while. We won't have to deal with that. That way we can go ahead and get back down here and start picking up this grass. I also got to put the bunker silos in before I can dump the grass. I guess worst case scenario, I can always put the grass in storage and to the silo, and then whenever I'm ready I can get it back out and do the bunkers, but I might as well do it depending on what they cost. Alright, we are back up here at the farm now. I need to drop this baler off and grab the loading wagon. Head back down, check the harvester, and pick up that grass. So we'll drop that there, grab this loading wagon. Go ahead and hook up to that. And then we're going to just pop down this hill, and I'll leave the loading wagon at the turn so that I can just grab it again when I'm ready to go. And I will go over and unload this harvester. I'm not going to sleep through the night because I have my guy planting the field. And if I sleep through the night, part of the field will be ready, and then it'll be another 10 hours before the other part is ready, and I don't want that. So we'll drop the trailer there, or the loading wagon there, and we will go over here and pick up the new trailer that I bought and empty out the harvester. Then he should be good for a little while. That'll give us enough time to pick up the grass in this other field. See, this is the way I like my games to go. I like to always have multiple jobs going to where I'm bouncing back and forth between things. I don't like downtime where I'm just sitting waiting for stuff to get ready. That drives me crazy. So what I normally do is I get way more going than I should have going at a time, so that I really can't actually keep up and people are waiting on me to get to them. But I'd rather have that than be sitting around with nothing to do. Because the way I look at it, if you're busy, you're making money. And you got to make a whole bunch of money in this game, because the equipment is incredibly expensive. Now, one good thing about this is I know this map extremely well, so I can find my way around when it gets dark. Yeah, he's done, ready, waiting on me. So I will grab my trailer and I will zip down there and empty him out. The pipe is facing away from the crops to where he's already harvested, so that is wonderful. That means I don't have to wait around. I can simply pull up underneath of them, drop the trailer, and roll. And then once we get that in place, I will go back over, pick the loading wagon back up, and head over to the other field to pick up the grass. I like it when that happens. I don't like it as much when the harvester is facing the crops with the pipe, because then you have to sit and wait. You can't just leave it, because the harvester will end up getting blocked by the trailer if you do. And then you got to come back down and move it before he'll work. Alright, we're back here at the loading wagon, so we're going to go ahead and pick this up. And we will head over here and start picking up this grass. It'll probably be a couple trips. I think that I can probably get maybe one line, maybe a little bit more per trip, but we'll see. I don't remember exactly how much this thing holds, so it's kind of hard to guesstimate how many trips I'm going to have to make. But we'll make as many as we need to make. Just keep picking it up, taking it up to our farm. We have a ton of grass bales already up there for the sheep, so they have plenty of food right now. So I don't need to use any of this grass for the sheep because they have a ton. So all of this grass will be either stored or made into silage. Probably made into silage. That's what I'm going to do with it, I think. Depending on how expensive the bunker silos are. I know the big bunker silo is about $100,000, I think. So that's kind of out of my price range right now. But I'm pretty sure I can put in one of the medium ones for the money that I have. And that'll be worth doing. That'll be a good buy. Alright, so let's go ahead and start picking this up. See how much we can fit in here before we have to head back up to the farm. I'm hoping if I can get at least one line per load, then that'll only be 3 trips. But we shall see. I might be able to get more than one. That would be nice. When I buy the biggest loading wagon, then I will be able to probably do this entire little field in one trip. But unfortunately, it takes way more horsepower to operate that than I currently have in my little tiny tractors. So as we make a little bit of money and I get bigger tractors, then we'll be able to upgrade our equipment to equipment that takes a higher horsepower to operate, which will be nice because we can get more done then. Right now, when you're working with smaller equipment, it's kind of difficult to get a great deal done at a time. Alright, so that is one complete line, and it took me to 99%, so pretty much one line per load. So we're going to have 2 more loads to do before we're done. So I'm going to run this back on up to the farm, and I will see you when I get there. Alright, we are back up here at the farm, and as you can see, our worker there is planting the field. He's gotten quite a bit done already. That's wonderful. So we're going to pull over here with the grass. And then I need to get the bunker silo set up if I'm going to buy it. We have to check and see what it cost. And make sure that it's doable right now. I don't have a ton of money. I've spent quite a bit of it. I only have like 74 grand, I think. We want to go with the duals. Yeah, it's $90,000 for the large one. That's what I'd like to have, but I don't have the money. But we can get the medium size for 50 grand. So I think we'll go ahead and put that in. Drop that right there, I guess. That'll work. So then I'll show you what you do. You drive over to it with your trailer. And you have to start manually unloading your grass or whatever kind of chaff you have. You have to start manually unloading it when you get inside of it and drive through it. You have to be very careful not to drop it outside of the silo, because then it becomes a real pain. You got to come back and pick it up. But basically that's all you do. You just start unloading it and you just drive really slow through, and you want it to finish unloading before you get to the end, just like that. So then that's one pass, and each time you fill up your trailer you do that again. And then once you have it filled with all the grass that you have, you drive back and forth, back and forth, back and forth over it to compress it down. And when you get to 100% compression, you can cover it, and it will begin to ferment and make silage. So I'm going to head back down here and pick up the next line of grass. So I will see you when I get back down there. Alright, we are back up here at the field to pick up the next line of grass. And just to let you know, I am doing full 1 hour episodes for each of the farming videos, but what I'm doing is I'm cutting out the driving back and forth bits, because a lot of time is spent going from the field to the farm, from the farm to the field over and over and over again. And that way you don't have to sit here and watch me drive back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. This way I will cut out when I get ready to head up there and come back in when I'm where I'm going. So you don't have to get the driving bits in between, because that gets kind of tedious going back and forth. So I don't know what the time will actually end up being for each one of these videos. I guess it depends on how many times I drive from field to farm and all that. But I just wanted you to know that each one of these is a full hour before I edit it. So once we get all of this line picked up, well, that one didn't even do the full line. That's kind of weird. That only did like half to 3/4 of the line. Strange. Alright, so we're full again, so we're headed back up to the farm, and I will see you when I get there. Alright, we are back up here at the farm again. I came the other way this time so that I can empty into the silo from the other side. I try to alternate it like that because when I actually flatten this out, it's going to spread, and that way it's a lot more even when I'm done with it. So we're going to do the same thing we did before. We're going to start empty it into the silo and just slowly drive through it. Making sure that we have it all emptied out before we get to the end. Just like that. Okay, our harvester is almost full. So we're going to swing down and empty him, and then we'll head back over and grab that other row of grass. So I will see you when I get down to the harvester. Alright, we are back down here with the harvester now, so I need to drop the loading trailer and pick up the other trailer. So I'm going to pull up here beside it and drop the one off and grab the other. And we'll go ahead and follow along with this guy and go ahead and get him emptied out. And then move back over to that other field and get another load of grass. I think it's going to be 2 more loads total for that field before it's finished. And then once it's finished, we'll be able to compress all that down in the bunker and start to make silage out of it. So now we just have to wait until this harvester gets fully unloaded, and then we'll pull back over there and grab our loading trailer and head back to the other field. As you can see, it's almost 10 o'clock at night now. It is substantially darker, and we have got our guys working through the night here. If it wasn't for the fact that I was planting right now as well, I would have already slept through the night, because it's much easier to see what you're doing in the daytime. But as I mentioned, I don't want to screw up that field and have it grow unevenly to where I have to wait a long period of time in between harvesting it. So that's why I do this at night, because I didn't want to wait till the next morning to start planting the field. And on this map, you can kind of get away with it. On some maps, as I mentioned, it's very, very, very dark, and there's just no way you can do it, because you just can't see what the hell you're doing. Even with your lights in your tractor, you can't see far enough ahead of you to make any kind of real difference. But on this map, you can. So we're going to head back over to that field to pick up another load of grass, and then there should only be 1 more load left after that, I think. We shall see. Alright, we have made it back up here, and we're going to start picking up more of this grass. I'm going to go ahead and do this last line here, and then the last load will be the 2 partial lines. Whatever we don't get on this load will be picked up on the next one. And that'll be job done, and we'll just have to wait for this field to regrow so we can mow it again. It doesn't take very long when you're running at 15 times speed. That's where I like to play the game, because at that speed there's always something to do. If you're at real time, which is 1 second equals 1 second, that's not a very good speed to play on for me, because there's a lot of downtime. At 5 times speed, there's still too much downtime for me. But when you crank it up to 15, things get done a lot faster, and there's always something to do, it seems. Now you can go all the way up to 120 times speed, which is smoking fast. But there's just no way to keep up when you're doing that. That's usually for if you want to speed up time so a field will get ready. So we have a tiny bit of this row and part of this row left. So on the next trip down here, we will finish this field off again. So now it's just heading back up and dumping this grass into the bunker. Alright, we are just down at the bottom of the hill here from our farm, but according to the time, I am about 30 seconds away from the end of this. So if you liked the video, please hit like and subscribe if you have not already. And I will see you on the next one. I hope you guys are enjoying this. I'm sure enjoying doing it. So until I speak to you again, love many, trust few, and do harm to none. God loves you, and so do I. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.